the day of Pentecost, when it fully came, it had to be on the first day of the week to be a Pentecost day. With preaching, they're gathered together, and there's preaching taking place on the first day of the week, and people got saved. And when did they enter the church? On a Sunday, if you will. Is this not the day that he baptized us? Is it the day of the Lord? In that sense, the day is here. It's the day of the Lord, the day. Okay, number 8, the Gentiles are recorded. The Gentiles, not the Jews. Coming together to break bread on the first day of the week with some preaching. Look at Acts 27. It's on your notes there. Now, on the first day of the week, what day would that be? Not the last day of the week.
Sunday.
When the disciples came together to break bread, Paul, ready to depart the next day, which would be Monday, okay, spoke to them and continued his message until midnight. It implies, in one sense, that they came together on the first day of the week with some preaching and stayed preaching all night. Sounds like a worship day to me in that sense. All right. Look at this next one. The Gentile churches were laying aside their offerings routinely on the first day of the week. Get all these words to 1 Corinthians 16:1. Now concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given orders to the churches of Galatia, in other words, this is going on in Galatia, you guys do this, what I'm about to tell you in Corinth to do. I have given orders to the churches of Galatia, so you must do also on the first day of the week. Let each one of you, that's the individuals within the churches, come together and do what we're about to say. Let each one of you lay something aside, storing up as he may prosper, that there be no collections when I come. Why are they doing it? If they're gathering together on the day before, why are they coming together a second day? I don't know. Just saying, I'm not saying yes or no. I'm saying to say that things changed 500 years later and the worship day changed to agree with somebody else's worship day, I'm thinking, maybe not. Having said all that, don't get hung up on the days, because my conclusion is not this, nor this, but I'm a Romans 14 kind of guy. I'm a Galatians 3 kind of guy. I'm a Colossians 2 kind of guy. And let me give you these verses. They're on your last page of your notes. Romans 14:1 through 10 says this: receive one who is weak in the faith, but not to disputes over doubtful things. Can you understand that? Basically says, choose your battles and don't fumble over the small stuff. Okay? Don't have disputes over doubtful things. For one believes he may eat all things, but he who is weak eats only vegetables. Let not him who eats despise him who does not eat, and let not him who does not eat judge him who eats. For God has received him. Who are you to judge another's servant? To his own master he stands or falls. Indeed, he will be made to stand, for God is able to make him stand. Now we're going to talk about a day. One person esteems one day above another. What would that say to the Jew? We esteem X. Okay? Another esteems every day alike. Or what would it say to the church, by the way? Well, we esteem Y. But there's another guy that says, another esteems every day alike. They're all the same. They're all God's days. Every day is the Lord's day. This is the day. What do you think David meant? This is the day of the Lord. Did you think was he talking about the Sabbath? Or was he talking about this day? Have you ever gotten up in the morning and said, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it on some other day other than the Lord's day?
Amen.
Whatever your definition for the Lord's day. Is that not true?
Hallelujah.
Is it his day that day?
Yes.
You get where I'm coming from?
Yes.
Is it that important?
Yes.
What's the heart of God telling you? What's the heart of you as a believer telling you? Hold these things loosely, I'm saying. We may understand it better someday, and we may be proven right, or we may be shown, I mean, every day. You think day 2 of creation was that much more spectacular than day 1? They're all pretty spectacular. Mm-hmm. This, every day in the Genesis account, could be saying, this is the day that the Lord has made. He's awesome. Let every man be convinced in his own mind. He who observes the day, observes it to the Lord. And he who does not observe the day to the Lord, he does not make that day special, or does not observe. He who eats, eats to the Lord, for he gives thanks, and he who does not eat to the Lord, he does not eat and gives God thanks. For none of us lives to himself, and no one dies to himself. For if we live to the Lord, and if we die to the Lord. Therefore, whether we live or die, we are the Lord's. For to this end Christ died and rose again, and lived again, that he might be Lord of both the dead and the living. Why do you judge your brother? Why do you show contempt for your brother? We shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. Galatians 4. But then, indeed, still talking about days. Indeed, when you did not know God, you served those which by nature are not gods. But now, after you have known God, or rather are known of God, how is it that you turn again to the weak and beggarly elements to which you desire again to be in bondage? You observe days and months and seasons and years. I'm afraid for you, lest I labor for you in vain. Colossians 2. So let no one judge you in food or drink, or regarding a festival, or a new moon, or Sabbaths, which are a shadow of things to come. All that stuff is what? Image, picture. What's the real? Everything is Jesus. Everything is the real. The days are him? Yes? The days? The Sabbaths are his? The months are his? I was thinking last night that I hadn't done the T-Berry Shuffle ever. And I was thinking about doing it. But can you imagine? It's the day the Lord has made. Every one of these. We don't need to get hung up trying to just correct everybody else's theology so much as loving on the Lord.
Amen.
Loving on him, loving him with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Let some of this other stuff take care of itself. Let's get together and talk about it, because there are truths to be known. There is freedom to be known. And if we get focused on the thing, you're not doing the rules right.
I'm thinking.
Judy, you're not doing the rules right. What does that feel like? Feels like wall, doesn't it? Unless I tell you in truth and love. Do you know what I found is well-meaning? And then now I can come and talk to you, and you may disagree or agree with me, but we're coming in love, and we're not separating the wall, and we're not saying because they do this and do that, then I'm not here. It's just quite the opposite. Because they love God and they love the Word, then I'm going to get something from them, and they're going to get something from me. There's going to be this interaction, and suddenly the church is the church, and it's 12:30, and I did it in a half an hour. Too much. That's
Praise God.
okay. Thank you for letting me go, and you're about to let me go. Okay. Okay. Does anybody love anybody any less after this morning? No, not really. Yes, I understand that some of you might disagree with me, and it's fine. Let's talk. It's okay. I'm just saying, when I get off on one or the other, very likely I'm going to hold all days alike. I'm not trying to be up here because I hold every day alike. I'm thinking every day is his. Right. Do I think we ought to routinely rest once a week? Absolutely. Make it a set-aside day.
That's the rhythm.
That's the rhythm of life. It's the rhythm of how we make it. I believe it. Honestly, it is. Do I think, you could ask questions, do I think, don't make me sound sarcastic here, but do I think that God, who set the earth in motion, has been counting revolutions from the day one to make sure it's the seventh one that we worship on? I don't think so. I think he just set it in motion. And we who are here in this rhythm of life thing, it's like you have a rhythm that goes with all your creation, and your body matches a rhythm. And you get into other questions about days and gets real specific. It brings on burdens. You get other questions in your mind. Say, how did Noah know with no windows what day it was? How does he know it's the seventh day? I don't know. But who else would carry that information to say we've been doing this since the beginning? Noah would have to. How would he know? I don't know. God could tell him, I'm sure, but it'd still be by faith. Well, isn't that what we do by faith on the days anyway? There's question after question you could bring up and say, well, what do you do? What do you do? What's that? He had a wife. Yeah, good. Okay, I'm done. I started talking some more. Sorry. Tonight we are meeting at our house again. Thank you for sticking around.
We'll do chili.
We'll do chili is the word. So you want to bring something to go with chili? It'd be great. God bless you. See you shortly. Okay.